this is the one that I used to keep around in the workshop.
Yeah.
When people come in, especially with newspapers and things like that, I wouldn't actually let them touch the real, the gold one. We'd have a replica, and this is identical to the ones we used to make. The shape is different than today, but that's basically the shape from around about 1947. I don't know if Luke wants to take a shot of up there, Luke.
That's
this particular one there, that's the one that's the shape. That's the actual drawing, the initial drawing of that Melbourne Cup. That's a shape.
And that's you with the mace?
That's different maces.
Yeah. Oh,
They're the different ones. See, I've made, they're different, they're parliamentary people, the Speaker of the House and so. They're different maces.
And where, there it is.
Yeah, and that's all.
But you haven't engraved this with your stamp?
No, the stamps are in the base.
Oh, they're
inside the base.
Okay, they're not visible. No,
well, they're visible, but you can't.
Yeah,
because they're locked in.
You've got to unscrew it.
Yeah, they're locked in there. But so you could just see it.
Oh, right. Yeah. Right.
And basically, that's what you'd get.
Yeah.
Along there, Lukey, if you can see.
So when they wanted to recycle, they'd have to scrape that off, file it off, and then put in another stamp.
And if you can imagine, Melbourne Cup winner, underneath that will be so and so. I had to remove one section.
Right.
And like, was it Lemon? Andrew.
Andrew Lemon.
Andrew said that I used another section.
Right.
And I picked the thicker side, and I said, only use this side because otherwise it's going to be too thin.
Yeah.
So there you go. But basically, this is how they're.
All right. Apparently, that cabinet contains stuff that you made.
Well, whatever's in that top section here is what I made. As you can see, it's a bit of Australiana.
Yeah.
I like a little. I like figures, as you can see.
Yeah.
That's all that is in sterling silver. They're copies of Australiana bits and pieces, emu eggs.
And the aeroplane?
Is what I've made, again, it's just a little silver plane, but I've got a big one out the back, which I'll show you in a moment, that I've just finished. Yeah. And so that's the type of work that we do. I like to show people the individual type of thing. It doesn't have to be just church work. It can be other things as well as a little bit of jewellery.
And with the price of gold and even silver now at the level it is, how do you manage it?
Well, I don't have to manage anything. The customer pays.
You add on.
All I do is just buy the material, pass it on to the customer. I put my work on it. Yeah. My work plus the materials, and pay some GST to the government, and everyone's happy. Yeah. Now this is one of our chalices that we make as well. Yeah. So again, we make them up to order. Occasionally, I'll make up half a dozen and just leave them for stock, and that way, they get an idea of what we're able to make. So I make a variety of shapes and sizes, and that way they can see.
Are these real stones?
No, they're synthetic. If they were real sapphires or whatever the case may be, one of those stones would buy the item.
But this is quite heavy. So is it the base metal?
Base metal.
That you use
again, it comes down to cost.
Right.
Where people say, well, listen, I want a chalice, I want to spend $1,000. Well, what am I going to get for $1,000? Well, you get a base metal and you get a silver plate. Now, you want a good silver one, you're going to have to pay a lot more than that. Or you want a gold one, it's going to even cost you more than that.
How much, if this was all gold, what would be the current price for one of these?
The last gold one I made was 800 grams.
Right.
Where on today's terms would probably be 800, probably be about $50,000 or $60,000. Right. Just for the material.
Right, and then you load.
And then you load.
And he's also made Jewish items.
Right.
At the Gold Museum in Ballarat is a 7-branch candlestick.
The menorah.
Oh, the menorah. You make those as well.
Well, I made one for the for the Gold Museum.
Right.
They show it off every now and again.
Yeah. And you didn't keep a replica by any chance?
Well, I'm not going to make a replica. It's twice the work. And that's basically what we do in there.
This is the other.
It's other bits and pieces that we do.
Is that a religious object? That one?
Yeah, that's a thurible.
Yeah.
You swing it around and for the
incense.
Incense.
Yeah.
So again, but then we do with bits of jewellery. So we'll do this with these bishops crosses.
For the crosses.
Yeah, so that's just for bishops.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Right.
So we do unusual. I'd like to do a little bit different if I can. So again, see where it's got our name and it's got our, it's got tells you it's silver and it tells you it's our name.
Yeah.
Yeah, plenty of tabernacles over the years.
Oh, by the way, Vince, it's currently got an emu egg setting on display at the Federation Square Art Gallery
Oh, right.
in the silverware.
In the silverware.
Yeah, with the National Gallery got a few pieces as well. Adam and Eve, a couple of things they got off me. What I call it, Adam and Eve.
When you say they got off you?
Well, they purchased it off me to display it up there. I don't know, whatever they do. I think they display it every now and again.
They chose.
We're walking into our workshop here. This is just where we put our things that have been completed and whatever. And we move on a little bit further down, and these are some of the workbenches that we sit and do our bits and pieces again. The smaller pieces of these benches, obviously, that's a bit of cleaning up to do. They're antiques, those things, yeah.
And what's that, a cooker?
No, that's a kettle on stand. That's
Right.
This is made in about 1850s.
Right.
1850. It's a kettle on stand, what we call a kettle on stand. You put the hot water in there. You've got a burner, and that heats up the. Well, it doesn't heat up the water. You put it in hot, and that just keeps it. And then you put the water from there into a teapot, which is this one, and then you serve your tea from there. So there's a tradition there.
Before the gas.
Yeah.
And what sort of renovation work are you doing on this?
These are just clean up jobs.
Oh,
They're my daughters. They're going to my daughters.
Okay.
That's one daughter. That's the other daughter.
Oh, okay, that's lovely actually.
Yeah, that's a bit earlier, that one.
Yeah.
So they both going to the girls. Yeah.
And you've got all these different hammers.
Yeah, and we use them all
For a
too.
different purpose? Or?
Yeah, different things, yeah. That's
So
what we use.
The bigger ones you use initially, and
yeah,
then,
and
as
then work
it gets
well,
closer, you get
and
finer ones.
yeah. So we use all the bits and pieces, and they're underneath there. You can see there's a lot of steel bits and pieces. That's what we call chucks and dies and things like that. That's what we hammer when we make up a Melbourne Cup. We may use something like this.
Right.
And hammer the material over the top of it.
Right, to get
the shape,
you want.
and get the shape.
Yeah.
So that's what we do.
And well, again here,
Work
more
should
fine
be
work.
a little bit more finer work. And there's another piece that we've just finished. Just a bit of carving. That's a bit of carving. You carve it up out of wax, cast it, and then mount it. I've chose to make a sort of a claret jug type thing.
And did you have to cut the opening there from the in the glass?
Well, not myself, but the glass person.
Yeah, no, but I mean,
it had to be cut. Everything had to be tailor made, and we made it. Well, I made that fit there, and then just mounted it on there, so it's stuck on there, and it's just for wine or water. Just a nice little claret jug. It's a little bit different. And there's this thing here now. This is with the planes. I'm just finishing a plane at the moment. This is a bit of quartz, a natural quartz, and I've made a plane, a Spitfire.
Oh.
So what happens is I haven't completed it yet. It's nearly finished. As you can see, I've just got to polish it and do a few other bits and pieces to it, but it's nearly there. And this is its stand.
Oh,
so the plane will actually sit on there. So if you didn't want it on a desk or anything like that, it would just sit on the.
And the quartz is just to hold the.
Just a base for it to hold up. I just thought I'd give it a little bit of character. And
this is what sort of metal?
Silver.
Silver.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a silver item.
It's very nice.
Yeah. A little bit different.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it's all about. Being creative.
Yeah.
And if you can do that, there's the drawing.
There's the drawing for the plane.
And that's how we do that. When we were talking back there, how we need a drawing first. I'll draw it up, and then go from there.
Yeah. So, are you self-taught in the drawing, or does this
Yeah,
stuff
no, I do it myself.
that you were taught at school?
Well, at school we did a lot of tech drawing.
Tech drawing. Yeah.
So
Terrible at it.
I obviously I've got a bit of a knack on it, and that's basically. So what I do is I'll do my drawings,
Right.
and then work out the material content.
Right.
As you can see, this is how I'm going to do the front part of the plane. This is the back part of the plane, and I think on the back of that. So I've done that. This one with this. 2013 I started to do this.
Right.
So
And is that plane?
that's that plane. So it's just one of those jobs that I
Is
occasionally
is
get
it
together.
a hobby and
Yeah, it's a process. So, yeah,
commission?
yeah.
And
Silver.
that was
Well,
similar
the
to the
plane.
one that used in the plane. Yeah.
Well, what you do
Yeah.
is
yeah.
silver.
That's solid silver. So
Yeah, silver.
an ingot. And
An
so
ingot.
that's what you start off with. And what
Yeah.
do you do then?
Well, we actually we melt the silver and
Right.
make an ingot first,
Right.
and then once we've got the ingot, then we roll it in the machine and just roll it to a sheet form.
Which machine? There?
The rollers, what we call the rollers. This is where we do the melting first.
Right.
Basically, it'll be a crucible,
Right.
heat,
Right.
and where we pour the metal into.
Right. And,
Okay. So what we do, heat the metal,
Yeah.
pour
in
it
there,
into the ingot,
and then it cools off, and it
and we've got that
got
block.
the ingot. Yeah,
We've got a block
okay.
of gold, silver, whatever
Yeah,
we're using.
yeah.
So we've got that. We take it over to the rollers,
yeah.
and we'll roll it out to a sheet form.
The roller being.
The roller being, this is a hand roller
Right.
that I used to use for the night classes and
Right.
smaller pieces.
Right.
That's the electric ones over here. If you go over there, Luke, you might be able to pick it up a little bit better.
Like you'd feed the metal between the rolls.
Between the rolls, and that'll flatten it
Right.
off until the thickness that I require.
Right.
And it'll take it down to whatever thickness I want.
It's like making pasta.
Exactly. But in silver
In
or gold, one or the other. So that's
In
where
gold.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once we've got the metal
Yeah.
and we've got it, we'll shape it, we'll solder it up, and all the soldering is done on that bench as well with the heat.
Right.
And what we do is fuse the metals together, put them together, and then form it and hammer it and do whatever.
And if it's not solid silver, I take it you'd
This
get
is
no. You were using a base metal because they wanted.
base metal is this type of material, a brass.
Right. Is this easier to work?
No.
No.
Silver is one of the nicest materials to work with.
Why is that? Is it
Because it's a nice pliable material.
right, and it doesn't break as easily.
Well, it doesn't break. This stuff doesn't break
Yeah.
either, but it's a little bit coarser and a bit
Right,
harder.
right.
18 karat gold is beautiful to work with.
Yeah.
9 karat is very, very hard. It's like
Right.
steel.
Right.
So it's
Really?
very hard. Yeah, because it's only 9 parts gold.
Yeah, and
You know, all the
and
rest
you
is
don't know
in
what the other
Well,
stuff.
no, I know what it is. It's copper and silver.
Oh, right.
So, and the same with here. Silver in natural form is very soft.
Right. So what do they mix it with?
Copper.
Copper.
Yeah.
So
And the same with gold.
yeah.
A bit of copper and a bit of silver. Depending on the
Copper's
colour.
a common product in all of these.
Always, yeah.
Yeah.
So alloy is the copper.
Yeah.
With if you want different colours, because you can get different colours in gold. You
Right.
can get got probably about 10 different.
So when they refer to white gold,
Yeah,
how do
just
they
an
do-
ingredient. Yeah, just
what do
different
they add?
materials.
Different material. Okay.
Different materials.
And
That's alloy.
yeah,
Yeah.
and when you say
But the main thing is gold.
9 carat, 18 carat, that
Yeah, a lot more copper and a lot more silver.
not more gold.
No more gold.
Oh.
The higher the grade of the gold, the more gold.
Right.
That hence is 18 or
Yeah,
24.
yeah, right.
24 is just pure.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So that's very,
that's the
but
most
it's too
expensive.
soft.
It's too
Yeah,
soft,
it's
yeah,
too soft.
yeah.
Very hard.
And these are lathes. like
Yeah,
this
that's my
thing,
turning lathe. Yeah.
and you turn if
Yeah.
you need to turn.
Well, when I was making Melbourne cups or when I make silver chalices or anything like that, I have to make the screws or the nuts in silver.
And you did those.
So I have to actually melt the silver into
So you're
round
not
blocks.
just a silversmith, you're a tool maker.
well,
well.
basically, yeah.
Yeah.
But, well, as you can see, you've got to
Yeah.
make you've got to
Yeah.
make up the
Yeah.
tools
Yeah.
to work with.
And this is.
This is what we call a
The
spinning
other-
lathe. And this is what we do is a bit of spinning on that. If we want a particular form,
Yeah.
we'll put the die onto the machine, and we'll we'll get a disc, a brass disc, a silver disc or gold disc, whatever the requirements are, put it onto that. The machine will be spinning around. We'll use one of these tools
Right.
to form the metal over the die.
Oh, okay.
Okay, has it spinning around.
Right.
And we'll get the, we'll
when
get
you
the shape.
say you use one of these tools, how do you just hold it against?
Yeah, you hold it up against the,
Oh, okay.
So-
Oh, right.
and you work your
work it
metal
through.
over it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you've got that, and then
Yeah.
and that's some sort of a cutter.
Well, that's a guillotine, basically.
These
These are all the customers' work that I've got to do one day. One day I'll get to it.
you're finishing off.
And someone wants me to make up one of those, so I'll just eventually get something done there with that.
And what is this?
It's a bottle holder, you know, for a cooler.
A cooler.
Yeah,
It's very heavy.
yeah.
It's
Anyway, so
You've
that's
got
the topic.
phenomenal setup here, like
I don't know.
Yeah, no,
It's just
pity.
it's just a little bit different.
can't be passed on.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Well, look, thanks very much.
Oh, you're quite welcome.
And it's been an educational visit for me, and I'm sure all those who watch it will be similarly done. And as I say, it's important, I think, that not just people my age, but the younger people like your nephew understand what's been going on and hopefully make that connection.
Yeah.
Because and I've got to ask you one last question. In terms of the Calabrese, is the fact that you've got the Calabrese background, do you think that's a factor in your work, or is that a problem?
I don't think it is.
Yeah.
It's if you enjoy your work,
Yeah,
you can be any culture, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
If you come back from any background.
Yeah. All right. Good. Thanks very much.